Hey y'all, it's Nate Gobay, the local vibe dealer, because I provide all the vibes. But today I would like to talk about toxic mothers. I want to talk about how there's an unwritten rule that we can't talk about toxic mothers. How women can ruin families from conception till end. How women set the foundation of a lot of pain in this world. How women ruin men from conception till end. I have a piece coming out on my blog. You all will get that very soon. But I would like to just talk about this because it is something that really isn't spoken. It's an unwritten rule. It's, well, you only get one mama. You only get one daddy too. Don't nobody say that. Because, a woman can always go get with another man and have another man in the house. But quite honestly, a man can go get with another woman and have another woman in the house. So why is it that everybody always say you only get one mama? Because you are always mama's baby daddy's maybe. Women, regardless of whether the man stays there or not, women are the pillars of the community. Women are truly and wholeheartedly the main ones who are the sole providers of families. And I'm not saying that to down the man. I'm saying that in the sense of, if the father is not there, mommy still needs to be there. Even when you have adoptive children, it's still with a woman. So why is it as a community collectively? And I do only mean the melanated community. I'm not calling nobody no more. I'm not calling you black. I'm not calling you African American. I ain't calling you clear. I ain't calling you white. I ain't calling you nothing. I'm talking about melanated people. Why is it such an unspoken rule of toxic mothers? Why isn't it spoken? Why don't we talk about this? We talk about all these deadbeat ass daddies, when quite honestly, that still comes from home. It still comes from the mother, because there are a lot of successful fathers out here, a lot of great fathers out here who did not have men in the home, who grew up under single mothers. Why don't we talk about it? Why don't we talk about how when, you have these women who get in relationships and they show more attention to their man and they do their children, and that child then grows what do you call those? A complex, so to speak. Something, they have trust issues. They have mommy issues. You already got a daddy issue because your daddy ain't in the house. But it's up to that mother to make sure that child doesn't have a daddy issue. It's up to that mother. It's up to that mother to provide morals and values, love, care, knowledge, love. Not just on Wednesdays, not just on the weekends, 7 days. Every single day. of that child's life. The mother is supposed to provide love. That mother is supposed to be the protector. Because quite honestly, women have always been the protectors. The men are the protectors as a collective. The men are there to make sure that everything is taken care of so the woman can do what she has to do for the household. So when you have these toxic ass women out here who want to be savages, who get that bread, get that head, then leave. This is what creates the generation of fuckboys that we have today. It's not the fathers who create fuckboys, it's the mothers, it's the women. You know, the woman from conception till end will ruin a man. She can even ruin her daughter. She can create complexes in her mind of worthlessness, where they're needing validation all the time from an outside source. They're needing love from an outside source. Women do that. Mothers do that. And the sad part about it is that a lot of parents, a lot of mothers don't realize that they are the foundation of the degenerate of the adult. They don't realize that, you know. Whether you were always working because you had to provide for your children because there was no one else to be there for your children, whether you're working all the time and you grinding and doing all of this and you're not at home, so your child feels parentless, they feel motherless, they feel loveless, which is how you get all these people to go out here looking for love from an outside source, because there isn't enough love at home. Why did people always go to gangs? Because they wanted to feel accepted. They wanted to feel loved. They wanted to feel cared for. They wanted to feel like they belong to something that had substance, to something that had meaning to their lives. Why don't we ever talk about toxic ass mothers? Fuck just talking about toxic ass, savage ass women out here. Why aren't we talking about toxic ass mothers? These mothers who consistently beat on a boy, down him, make him feel like a piece of shit, and then still expect her to love him, still expect him to go out here and treat a woman with respect, still expect him to go out here and be the king that he should be. How? How can you expect your child to go out here and uphold this idea that you have if you haven't provided them with the foundation of the idea in your mind of what you think your child's supposed to come up and be? How? How can you sit back and genuinely feel like your child is going to grow up to be a model adult if you toxic as fuck? And when I say toxic, I mean the mothers that feel like a child isn't validated in how they feel because they're a child. If I'm telling you as a child, I feel like you don't love me anymore or at all. I feel like you don't care about me. I feel like you don't care about what I have to say. I feel like you don't care about how I feel. I grew up in a generation of family members and women that felt like do as I say, not as I do. I grew up in a family of women that be seen and not be heard. So I created it created a complex in me. I didn't create it, created a complex in me to not have a voice. My throat chakra was blocked for years because I didn't have a voice. I couldn't say shit about how I felt. And when I did, I was talking back. I was being disrespectful. So now I make sure that my children have a voice. I make sure that my children express themselves because I have young melanated boys that I'm raising to be men. And I don't want them to be emotionally retarded. If anybody feels offended by that word, I don't want them to be emotionally decapitated. Emotionally ignorant. For those that are offended by any such words. Emotionally ignorant. And to be ignorant is to not know. To not know how to deal with your emotions. I dealt with a man that was I dealt with several men that were emotionally ignorant. And were violent as fuck because of it. And that came from home. It came from their foundation. I dealt with women that were broken because of home. Most of us in the 30s, 30s and 40s came from baby boomers. And those baby boomers came from them old ass people. Them old ass people. See, my family was old. My mama in her 60s. My grandmother may she continue to ascend in paradise. But my grandmother was born in the 20s, in the 1920s. And that was a different time. So when I came up, I had to deal with a lot of stuff. But I say all of that to say we deal with that generation of parents that is do as I say, not as I do. Don't ask, don't tell. They make you be around family members that don't give a fuck about you or have abused you in some way or abused them in some way, and they still force you to be around them. That's sick. You should never force your child or children to be around people that mean them no well. No good. No good. You should never force your children to be around anyone or allows anyone in your child's space, in their home, that means you know well. But mothers are supposed to be the sole protectors of that. They're supposed to be the ones that protect the child no matter what. If you pay attention to the animal kingdom, the mother, it's the women. It's the mother. A nation is only as good as its woman. And the women in this nation are trash. Like I side with a lot of men when I see them posting it, because it's a lot of women out here today that are being influenced heavily by social media and reality TV. There was something that changed in the cards when Love and Hip Hop came, because the reality TV I remember was the real world. And that was the real world. Them motherfuckers was working for that money. They were working real hard for that money. Still in school, still doing what they needed to do, but doing what they had to do to get that bread at the end of the show. That was some real world ass shit. But then we look at reality TV today and all we see is ass and titties. Back then, we saw real bodies. Yeah, you might see a couple women with breast implants, You know what I'm saying? But everybody know about breast implants, You got little boobs, you want them to be bigger? Okay. But now we got women altering their faces and shit, going out here and infecting their bodies to get asses. Like, the generation of women today are trash. Trash. I pray for my son. Because the generation today is raising the daughters that's going to be talking to my sons. And they trash. So I make sure every day that I'm the example that I want my sons to look for in a woman. I want them to find somebody that's strong, resilient, independent, that ain't begging him for $40, thinking that he's supposed to provide $40 for an even exchange of an orgasm. Hey, I understand, if a man is laying in that bed and putting his shoes under that bed, he's supposed to be able to provide something. I do understand that. I do. That is a given. But when did we as women find it okay to be as trashy as we are today? There's no other way to say it. It's trash. It's trash. Like, it's trash. I scroll social media. Sometimes I just scroll just to see. Just to look and see. What am I going to find? What am I going to find? And you know what I find? A bunch of bullshit. I see all I see is ass and titties. Ass and titties, 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 ass and titties. And that comes from a woman needing to feel validated from an outside source. It comes from home. Because at some point in your life, in your foundation, you felt like you weren't enough to somebody. You felt like you weren't enough. So you go out and you buy enough. That's toxic. That's horrible. It's toxic to yourself. Who didn't tell you you was beautiful just the way that you were? Somebody didn't tell you that. Even if it was a man that didn't tell you, or even a woman that didn't tell you that you were enough, you should know that you're more than enough. Because you know the woman that you are. You know what you bring. You know the caliber of woman that you are. Somebody didn't give you enough love at home for you to love yourself. When are we going to address toxic ass mothers? And even in this generation of millennials, you have toxic ass mothers that like to keep the child from the father just because she mad and emotional. Not for a valid reason, because he was being violent, or because he being crazy, or because genuinely he really don't give a fuck about the child, or he abusing the child, or anything. He put the child down, or the child is saying that the other parent's person is being mean to them or abusing them. No, we have a generation of toxic, trash ass women that want to sit back and be petty. Savages. Savage. I'm gonna be a savage. I'm a savage. Classy, bougie, ratchet. You sure is. Because ain't an ounce of class in you. Ain't an ounce of class. Now, don't get me wrong, because I have, my own situations. I've been in my own situations from both sides of the fence. Being with a guy that had to deal with a toxic ass counterpart of his child. And me, myself, dealing with a toxic ass counterpart of my child. So I understand that there are certain circumstances of situations. I do. I understand. 100%. 100%. But are you displaying that in front of your child? Are you showing in front of your child that you and their other person have beef or have a toxic ass co-parenting shit? Are you showing that? Are you showing your child that you don't know how to handle your emotions? Because eventually that's how they're going to act when they get emotional. When they're dealing with a high escalated situation. That's how they're going to act. They're going to remember that. They're also going to remember how you talk to their other parent. They're going to remember mommy because mommy is God in the eyesight of a child. You're God in the eyesight of your child. In the mind of your child. You're God because they don't know any other God. You're providing for them. You're protecting them. You're loving them. All they know and see is mommy and or daddy. But mommy. Because what do all the memes say that's going around? Mommy, 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 mommy. And then over here for daddy, where's mommy? Even in good two-parent households. Good two-parent households. Because mommy is God to a child. So, with that being said, again, why don't we address these toxic ass mothers? You have women today that I've seen go after child support on a guy, dog the father of the child just because she mad, but dog him in front of the child because you mad. I seen a picture or a meme that goes around of a woman, her daughter, and her son. And in that, her thing is, all niggas ain't shit. All men are this. All men are dogs. All men are this. The girl is sitting there repeating after the mother, and the boy is saying, I don't want to be a man. But we don't think about the example that we're setting for our children when we're in that household speaking things, speaking affirmations, reciting spells when we're wishing bad on people, and then wonder why something happened. Oh my God, he got into an accident. You was wishing bad on him last week. Now you surprised? You was just telling him that you hope he died. And you crying because he gone. Toxic ass mothers. Why don't we address this? Excuse me. Gotta get my vegetables. But why don't we address toxic ass mothers? Why don't we address the nation of toxic ass mothers? Toxic ass women. Trash ass women. Because trust and please believe, the image that you're setting out in the public is the same way you are at home in front of your kids. You out here twerking and shaking your ass for Jesus, your daughter gonna be out here twerking and shaking her ass for Jesus. We're not. We talk about men like women. Let's scale this back to a collective as a women. We go after the fuck boys and leave the guy that you thought was too nice with his heart broken because you wanted to go the fuck boy. And then you wonder why we continuously have a cycle of fuck boys out here. Even the ones who really can be great men, great lovers, okay, great partners. They're fuck boys because some woman broke their heart. They fuck boys. And chances are, one of the first women that probably broke their heart was their mama. Chances are. Because a mother can break a boy's heart and he go out here and he's a fuckboy. Or his first love can break his heart and he goes out here after that and he's a fuckboy. The first real love he decided to really dedicate himself to. Let's be clear about that. We're not talking about that playground shit, that elementary ass love, or probably even high school love, because you still hot in the ass. You know, I me personally, maybe because I've just never been that person, I still don't understand people getting married straight out of high school. You ain't had a chance, to sow your royal oats. Now, granted, people did it back in our grandparents' time, or even our parents' time, depending on how old your parent is. But let's be real. Them men was cheating their asses off because they knew. They knew they wasn't, They knew. They had families around the corner, across the street and shit. But again, what happened at home? Was his mama a secret hoe? Which made him not trust women? Did his mother not counteract what he saw his father do? Because a boy that truly loves his mama and knows that she really, really did well with him, for real, ain't finna go out here and be no fuckboy. Or a man that had a really good example of some woman in his life that was like a mother figure to him. I ain't gonna go out here and be no fuckboy. I seen it. I've seen it for myself. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen guys who have strained ass relationships or, toxic ass relationships with their mama. I've seen it. If you, especially the women with sons, I never understand how you can be toxic to your son, because eventually one day he's going to have to go out and be somebody's man, be somebody's husband, be somebody's boyfriend, date someone. And you're going to want to be able to be proud of the man you raised. You want to be able to be proud of the woman you raised. We got to stop the cycle. We got to heal from our own childhood traumas. We have to. We have to heal as a community, as a collective. We have to heal. But it starts with the women. It starts with the mothers. Because we always talking about, oh, men are dogs, men are this, men are that, men are this, men are that. Why? Why is that man like that? Chances are he got mommy and daddy issues. If not daddy issues, he definitely got mommy issues. So, you know, when you have a chance to sit with yourself, women, ask yourself, am I toxic? Hell, if you don't know what real toxic is, because there are some situations where people have toxic traits, but they're still a good person. So we got to understand what toxic, real toxic is. Toxicity is someone who's dismissive of your feelings, who never validated you as a child, who never encouraged you, never supported you, always put you down, or with emotionally and verbally or even physically abuse you and then tell you, what's that old saying? I hit you because I love you. I talk about you because I love you. So then you have the generation of children after that grow up into adults and deal with fucked up situations because, oh, they love me. So when do we heal? When do we correct this? When do we say enough is enough? As women, as the real leaders of this nation. Because we're bringing up a generation. We're bringing up these children. We are. Please, men, don't get offended. Please don't. Because there are some amazing fathers that I know. Amazing. Great dads. This ain't about y'all right now. It's about these toxic ass women and these toxic ass mothers. When do we heal? Because we are the leaders. We are the ones that are raising these children. We are the ones that are setting these examples for them. We are the ones instilling the morals and values in them. When do we heal? When do we heal? Because if we don't get this together, our children are fucked. They're doomed. When do we address it? This isn't don't ask, don't tell. This ain't sweep it under the rug era no more. It ain't. We need to start addressing these problems within our communities. We need to start holding these toxic ass women accountable. We need to start holding these toxic ass mothers accountable. Because if you are going to sit back and portray that, you know, oh, my baby daddy is this and my baby daddy is that and blah, 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 all that bullshit, what are you doing? What are you doing? That's so much better. That's so great. What are you doing? Are you really, truly, genuinely raising your sons and daughters to not have to heal from their childhood? Are you? Because most of us need to be in therapy to heal from our own childhoods. Most of us need to have our children in therapy from the current childhood that they're experiencing. We can't invalidate their feelings. We can't invalidate how they feel. You cannot invalidate how a child feels because you were once one that was going through it, that was dealing with it. When do we heal?